Right now, safety concerns in San Ysidro, why some people are choosing to risk their lives and not use crosswalks on a busy road. Plus, rooftop solar without a roof, how people may soon be allowed to take advantage of the clean energy option even when space is limited. And what parents need to know about predators using AI to target children. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Netta Iranpour. Here at CBS 8, we are working for you. We're listening to your concerns, investigating any questions you have, and finding solutions that matter to our community. We're going to begin in San Ysidro, where people are calling on city leaders to improve pedestrian safety by making changes on a busy street. News 8's Shannon Handy working for you, sharing more of their concerns and how San Ysidro is now responding.
I'm here on West San Ysidro Boulevard. The main concern has to do with the amount of people who jaywalk here. People who live and work in the area argue a crosswalk needs to be installed before someone gets hurt or even worse. Omar Araiza has only owned Cafecito 1806 since June, and already he's seen way too many close calls.
Many of our community members are elderly here, and they're rushing back and forth.
While in San Ysidro today, I saw exactly what Omar is talking about.
I mean, we're literally seeing somebody cross right now.
People jaywalking across the street to run errands or get to and from adjacent bus stops.
It gets heavily trafficked because we're so close to the border.
That's what I witnessed Mauricio Medina doing. I asked why he chooses to cross here as opposed to one of the two crosswalks on opposite ends of the street. He says they're too far away.
We can use both crosswalks, but the thing is that we're now handicapped.
Leticia Estrada told me the same.
The elderly people, we are already handicapped, too old to go long ways. So we need a short way to cross safety.
The two were, among others, inside Omar's coffee shop discussing their concerns, which got the attention of the San Ysidro Planning Commission. The commission requested the city send an inspector to the area to conduct a traffic study. They did back in August, but it was determined no changes were needed. Omar argues the city needs more data, saying they need to collect it during the busiest hours of the day.
During their evaluation, they didn't get to see everything that I get to see on a daily basis, because when I open up the coffee shop, I'm here for many hours and I see this happening all the time.
Last week, the Planning Commission sent this letter supporting a second request to have a comprehensive traffic study done. In a statement, a city spokesperson tells me the Transportation Department has received requests from multiple members of this community and is in the process of evaluating the best safety and traffic calming measures that can be implemented in this area. Meanwhile, Omar says the community is planning to start a petition not only to address the crossing issue, but also some sidewalk infrastructure problems.
It's down to cracks and puddles.
The former firefighter says safety has always been top of mind, which is why he wants to find a solution before it's too late.
We're asking is really for the cities to step up, step in, and be preventative.
Working for you, Shanna Handy, CBS 8.
California legislators are considering a plan to make it easier for everyone in California to go solar. That's even if you don't have access to a roof. News 8's Steve Price working for you and shows us what it'll cost, where this idea is already working.
When it comes to installing solar panels on homes, San Diego is one of the top cities in the entire country. But what if you live in an apartment or a home where you can't put solar panels on your roof? State leaders have an idea. Plug-in solar, or as some call it, balcony solar. You see them on balconies all over Germany, a small solar power system that can handle a fridge and a few other items when the sun is out. But then you go back to the grid at night.
You can set these out on a balcony. You can put these in a yard or a patio. So really all you just need is a little patch of sun.
Dave Rosenfeld with Solar Rights Alliance is pleased to hear that leaders in Sacramento are looking to ease regulations surrounding these systems so more people across California can get them.
In California, what we've seen is that there's too much red tape.
State Senator Scott Wiener introduced the legislation, which would allow San Diegans to install small systems without approval from SDG&E.
The cost of electricity throughout the state, in the Bay Area, San Diego, LA, is one of the drivers of the high cost of living in California that is really putting pressure on a lot of people, including both homeowners and renters. And we need to give people tools to get their costs down.
Energy experts say a 400-watt system would save users about $250 a year, but right now it would take about 3 years to break even. The hope is that more demand will raise production, driving down costs. That's exactly what happened in Germany.
Over time, we will see the price start to align with Germany so that it's more like $200-300 to buy one panel. And then, you can see this thing pay back within like a year or so.
SDG&E says it hopes to work with legislators as the bill makes its way through Sacramento, sending us a statement saying in part, our priority is ensuring that any technology operating on or near the electric system meets strong safety standards that protect customers, line workers, and the public. Legislators are hoping to pass the bill later this year, and after that,
by mid next year, we hope that consumers can walk into a Target, a Home Depot, an IKEA, or their local hardware store, be able to buy one of these products, set it out on a balcony, a yard, or a patio, safely plug it in, and begin cutting their energy bill.
Steve Price, CBS 8.
Might be able to see that on balconies someday. San Diego police are now sounding the alarm. They're saying predators are using artificial intelligence to target our kids. From sextortion to AI-generated deepfakes, officers say the threat is growing fast. CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez working for you and tells us what parents need to know right now.
This is the social media post shared by the San Diego Police Department warning about sextortion and AI-generated deepfakes. The post says offenders often pose as teens, move conversations to private platforms, then use fear or shame to demand money or explicit images. I spoke with police officer Anthony Carrasco about why they're sounding the alarm now.
We're seeing an uptick in sextortion and child exploitation online specifically, and so we want to get that word out for parents and caregivers to have those tough conversations with their kids to prevent them from becoming victims.
A deepfake is an AI-generated image or video that can appear real but aren't. Adjunct professor of cybersecurity at the University of San Diego, Nicholas Behar, told me there are software programs that create these images from a simple text prompt. Some tools are open source and widely available with few restrictions. Others are online services with more safeguards. So how can you tell if an image is fake? Behar says look closely at small details. Hands, feet, and eyes are often the giveaway.
Unfortunately, the models that generate these deepfakes are getting better and better, and so it's getting harder and harder to tell what is a deepfake and what is not. So something that the social media platforms are doing is if they sense that an image has been generated by AI, they will put a watermark on it that says this has been generated by AI. But it's relatively easy to get around that.
Carrasco notes investigators are working to keep pace with the tech by partnering with internet providers and app developers to track down suspects.
For victims and their families who may be targeted, police have a clear message. Block the user, but do not delete anything. Save those messages and images, and that evidence can be tracked to help build your case. Carrasco says these are felony crimes that can carry prison time. Still ahead, some residents at Balboa Park are nowhere to be seen. Why the Lily Pond is drained and what happened to all the fish. Plus, new rules aimed at e-bike accountability, the push to treat e-bikes more like cars. Welcome back. Now, visitors to Balboa Park may be doing a double take as the famous Lily Pond right next to the Botanical Gardens has been drained, leaving behind an empty basin. People are wondering, where did the fish go? CBS 8's Brian White working for you and got some answers.
Well, the good news and the most important news is the fish are safe, and the turtles too, by the way. The pond here was drained for upkeep and cleaning, and as you can see, the water level now is back to normal. The sound of water returning is welcome news for visitors who noticed something unusual this week. The famous Lily Pond sitting empty. The city of San Diego drained the pond Monday for a full-scale deep cleaning, something that has not been done in about 15 years.
Now, after many, many years, this is getting drained. It's getting clean.
The process included draining the pond completely, scrubbing and cleaning the basin, and repairing planter boxes before refilling it with fresh water, and it was all paid for out of the Parks and Rec general maintenance budget.
And obviously they had to drain it completely, right? So we had to get to the actual bottom of the lily pond, and they get all the water cleaned, and then we get new fresh water that's put into it.
And yes, the koi fish and turtles are safe. Katie McDonald with Forever Balboa Park, a nonprofit conservancy, says dozens of koi were temporarily relocated while crews worked.
But the city took tremendous care of these koi fish.
The city partnered with the Koi Club, bringing in experts to carefully remove and transport the fish to a safe holding environment. The deep cleaning is part of a larger public improvement project that included renovations to the historic botanical building and now the creation of 9 new gardens near the pond.
It's thrilling to get it cleaned up like this, right? This is such an important park for the city of San Diego and the region. It's just bringing it back to its pristine level.
Visitors say the refresh is worth the temporary disruption.
It's the only way to do the job. Take it all the way back to the beginning, start fresh.
And the big question, when are the koi fish returning? Well, I've been told they will be coming back in the coming weeks. Now, another thing to look forward to is the big reveal of those 9 new gardens here near the pond, and that's going to happen in April. I'm Brian White, CBS 8.
All right, changes could be coming for electric bikes, and it may mean a trip to the DMV. A proposed bill would require certain e-bikes to be registered with the state, display a license plate with riders required to carry proof of ownership. Here's CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez breaking down what this means and why some lawmakers say it's necessary.
E-bikes are everywhere, and some can reach high speeds. This bill, if passed, would add oversight so authorities can identify who's riding.
The E-Bike Accountability Act, introduced by Assemblymember Rebecca Bauer-Gahan, would require owners of Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes, which can reach up to 20 to 28 miles per hour, to register them with the DMV, get a license plate, and carry proof of registration.
And why this is so important is that we know that we are having incidents on our roads, on our bike paths, where e-bikes are going upwards of 30, 40, even sometimes 60 miles per hour, and there is no accountability for these riders. And so for the safety of the pedestrians, the other bicyclists, and these e-bike riders, we want to make sure that law enforcement has the ability to keep everyone safe by knowing who they are and being able to identify them.
For minors, only Class 2 e-bikes are allowed, which means parents must be involved and help register and get the license plate. Class 3 e-bikes are off limits to minors. The registration system would work similar to registering a car, but no test required. You just go to the DMV, register your e-bike, and get your license plate.
I do feel indifferent about it just because that is a long process. You know, you're have to get the registration.
Miko Picardo rides an e-bike and admits registration could be inconvenient, but notes if it curbs reckless riding, it's worth it. After his e-bike was stolen last week, he also sees it as a way to help recover stolen bikes.
And mine got stolen, and if I was able to go put in the serial number, actually get a real case, I'd probably be able to find it.
Riders would need proof of ownership matching their e-bike serial number. The DMV would handle the registration process. John Albini has been riding an e-bike for about 5 years. He notes regulations are needed, especially when it comes to speed and young riders.
It's a new technology that's coming, just like AI and everything else. And with the advent of that, we experience it. You have to look at regulating it. And I'm sure everybody's been involved with people driving too fast and the bikes going too fast.
If this bill becomes law, police could impound e-bikes that aren't compliant, but owners are able to get them back once they meet the requirements. We'll continue to keep track of this legislation and bring you any new developments. Esmeralda Perez, CBS 8.
A new effort now to slow down drivers in Encinitas did not go over well. Up next, we're going to show you what happened and how the city's responding. Well, drivers complained, neighbors pushed back, and now Encinitas hitting the brakes on a controversial change to Saxony Road. News 8's Vanessa Paz working for you and breaking down what's moving out and what is moving in.
The chicane on Saxony Road didn't take long to get attention. The city of Encinitas installed the curved dividers just a few months ago to slow drivers near the YMCA and a senior home. But some neighbors say they were caught off guard.
When they went in, we had no idea they were even putting them in. There was no notice, there was nothing. All of a sudden, they painted all the curbs red, and they started putting in these We call them squiggles.
Rachel Lamar has lived in this neighborhood for about 5 years. She says chicanes designed to slow traffic didn't do much at all.
You can still speed or not slow down to go through them, but the problem is that where the center divider is, people will go over the part that goes into the other lane. And so my neighbor was almost hit by someone head on because she was slowing down and this person was going really fast.
With heavy traffic between Encinitas and Leucadia, plus activity from the Y, senior community, and a new apartment complex on the way, residents worried the road was only getting busier. So neighbors took their concerns to City Hall. And a 5-0 vote later, a 4-way stop with a price tag of $30,000 will now replace them.
It was wonderful. I mean, it's just, a little victory.
Jim O'Hara, deputy mayor of Encinitas, says the city listened.
It just didn't work. And that's not a bad thing, but it's good that we can recognize that and we can move in a different direction.
Leaders even went out with neighbors and watched the traffic themselves.
We watched several buses, several police cars go right down the middle of the chicane, one of them go over the chicane, and it not affect the way they drove it at all. So it was pretty clear that it was somewhat ineffective.
O'Hara said the change is about safety, especially for people trying to cross the street and looking ahead to future growth, including a new parking lot for the YMCA. Design plans expected to come back before council in March. For Lamar, the process proves that when neighbors speak up, City Hall listens. In Encinitas, Vanessa Paz, CBS 8.
The next generation 911 system comes with a hefty price tag. Coming up, what's being done to make sure money it doesn't get wasted. Amid uncertainty over federal funding, local leaders are reminding San Diegans where you can find help. Leaders from 211 San Diego and community partners launched this new campaign. It's called San Diegans Helping San Diegans. And the goal here, highlight 211 as a one-stop resource for things like food assistance, healthcare navigation, disaster relief, and financial support. We know all of that can be pretty confusing. So if you do need help in any of those categories, you are urged to call 211, and there will be people there that can guide you. California Republicans are sounding the alarm on how much money was spent on California's next generation 911 system. An assembly member has now requested an audit into the spending, while a senator is pushing legislation to mandate more state reporting on this project. News 8 political reporter Jenny Huh explains.
Can't have failure here. Failure is not an option.
Nothing to show for it. We haven't updated our antiquated 911 system.
Republican legislators are demanding answers on the high cost and delayed implementation of California's next generation 911 system, a long-promised update to the state's current 5 decades-old legacy 911 system, which doesn't allow for technology like video streaming and photos.
Clearly failures that didn't allow that to happen, and it's just unacceptable.
As explained by the nonpartisan legislative analyst's office, the modernization of California's emergency response system is years in the making.
The beginnings of it were in 2010 in the Schwarzenegger administration. It evolved under the Brown administration and continued in the Newsom administration.
But it wasn't until 2019 the legislature dedicated funding, $130 million and ongoing. Since then, it spent over $455 million total on the project, with the California Office of Emergency Services, or Cal OES, spearheading efforts.
It's unclear how much additional we'll need to spend to get to the point where we can transition away from the legacy 911 system.
That complete transition is now delayed to 2030, meaning the state has to continue paying for the legacy system and for individual dispatch centers to navigate the legacy to next-gen transition too. That has cost $392 million since 2019. So since 2019, California has spent $847.5 million on 911 systems overall.
They're going to make changes, they need the legacy system to continue. So they asked us if they could continue to spend that money.
The revenue source is tax dollars. Every phone user in California pays a monthly surcharge. Currently, it's at 41 cents, an amount set by Cal OES each fall.
To raise more money for their projects, they can up that tax. That is completely within their jurisdiction, correct?
It is, but there is an 80-cent limit that's been put on.
Where is the project now? Initially, Cal OES opted for a regional approach, dividing the state into regions with one statewide entity overseeing all operations. Now they're shifting to the statewide model in the name of streamlining transition. And there was a roadblock with voice calls, despite success with other system upgrades like text to 911 services.
We're at an inflection point where OES is trying to decide exactly how to proceed. They've put forward their transition plan.
Jenny Ha, News 8.
Well, we are so glad you're joining us here on News 8, and that is going to do it for us. Remember, if there is something you want us to look into, you can always email us. We're right here working for you at CBS8.com. We will do our best to help you out with any questions, anything you want us to investigate. I'm Neda Iranpour. Thank you from all of us here at News 8. Have a wonderful day.